I give thumbs up.
So, welcome to Paris. I'm sitting here together with Marike van Staden.
Okay.
And you have a very strong relationship to ICLEI, which is a big actor for cities and regions.
Indeed.
What do you do there?
Well, I play two roles. I'm the director of the Carbon Center, the Bonn Center for Local Climate Action and Reporting. And I'm also leading the ICLEI's low carbon city agenda as the manager.
Great. Gonna come back to you a little bit later. I'm only going to inform you that we're going to send live from Paris nearly every day. If you follow us on Twitter, you're going to see exactly the times. But tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we have invited the mayor of Copenhagen. And we're going to have a lot of other people coming and guests coming. And for example, on the little bit later in the week, we also going to have Mistra Urban Futures director and also the mayor of Reykjavik. It's going to be very interesting. Just today, we have more than 150 presidents and leaders from nations all over the world, and we will see if we can make a pressure and see if we come to some conclusion of if we'll have a climate agreement when we go home after 2 weeks here.
We hope we do.
Yeah. So, Marike, what is your expectation from a city and region perspective on Paris summit?
Well, we've seen through all the previous COPs, the Conference of the Parties, we've built up since Bali, where we started the local government climate roadmap, with the aim to empower, recognize, and make sure that we engage local and subnational governments. I think we've achieved so far already the engagement. Cities are on board, regions are on board. We've achieved recognition at the Cancun COP in 2010, and now we're waiting for that empowerment. But this is a tricky word. Essentially what we're looking for is national governments to really actively support their local and subnational governments.
And cities and regions have no official sort of position in the negotiations.
They are indeed only part of the LGMA focal points group, which is more of a role where we can make statements but not influence.
If you hear some noise in the background, it's the Peruvian pavilion, and we have Indian from Peru who plays, and I hope you can hear some of the sounds coming behind our doors. And but you also have in your pavilion a lot of things going on. Can you give an overview of what's happening in the cities and regions pavilion?
Sure. We have in the green zone, which is publicly accessible, the Cities and Regions Pavilion is the main place where cities, regions and subnational governments are coming together. We have more than 100 activities running there, and we have an exciting lineup of mayors coming to also present their projects, which are looking for financing. It's a partnership activity, so we have a lot of partners working with us, and it's co-hosted by the City of Paris and the City of Bristol.
I can hear also a lot of discussion about financing, and that's a topic here to find how regions and cities going to find investment capital to do the things that we would like to see.
Absolutely. I think climate finance or green economy finance, or call it what you will, but we do need to see a better flow of finance to local climate action. In particular, many of the local governments do not necessarily have capacity, so we're also looking for capacity finance, making sure that they can develop bankable, solid project proposals that then can be rolled out very fast.
Yeah, and that means that you talk about green bonds, you talk about pension funds.
Green bonds is a hot new topic where we're also exploring how we can accelerate this. So far, Johannesburg has launched a green bond very successfully, and some other experiences more in the global north. Gothenburg has done an amazing one. So we want to get those lessons learned, how we can share and get more green bonds running.
Yeah, I understand also that cities and regions are working a lot together, and we have seen a lot of new types of networks coming up, and particularly the last months I have seen campaigning around the Compact of Mayors. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
This is a very exciting new initiative. We already have 377 cities and smaller towns that have committed to the compact. The idea is not that it replaces other initiatives, but rather accelerate and scale up, but reporting to a robust framework. This is a core at the heart of the Compact of Mayors, making sure that we track what is happening in terms of commitments, in terms of actions, and in terms of performance, looking both at mitigation and at adaptation. And if I speak under correction, but we already have 5 Nordic cities that are fully compliant, more than 30, I believe, in total. Fully compliant is quite an achievement, so we will celebrate them.
Okay. So what is the necessary step to be to signing up for Compact of Mayors?
The starting point is to make a commitment to tackle climate change. This means mitigation and adaptation, so setting a target. We do ask for ambitious targets on the mitigation side with clear baseline years against which we could be comparing the progress. On the adaptation side, the commitment is to deal with adaptation and climate resilience and to follow again our robust reporting framework. This is a partnership between the 3 global city networks, C40, ICLE and UCLG, and we hope that as many local governments that can and want to tackle climate change will join us. Even if they're part of the Covenant of Mayors, it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't compete. Also, we have the American equivalent thereof, so we're trying to get that mobilization action going.
It's interesting that you can see also that different networks work together in networks.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So if we look at some of the Nordic countries who are, as I understand, also in the forefront, and they talk a lot about carbon neutral cities, and that was one of the key issues also when we gathering in Almedalen this last summer, that most of the mayors were speaking of to be carbon neutral.
This is exciting because this shows that they also understand the dimensions that we need to think in. Reaching climate neutrality or carbon neutrality is not easy, but it is something that we must do. And I think the Nordic cities are on a good pathway, but it's let's start some competition there. They're not the only leaders. We need to see more. No. We need to also see clearly how they map that pathway to share with others, to give ideas, because that needs innovation, innovative ideas.
One thing which is coming up now and then is also how you mobilize people in the cities. Do you see any good sort of example of best practice to mobilize people in cities?
I see very different experiences. If you look at Italy, the old local Agenda 21 approach still helps to mobilize people. It's not at all a topic in many of the other countries. The citizen movements where you have strong NGO activity, working, for example, with WWF is for us an amazing experience to make sure that that voice of the citizens is heard and understood. You need local governments to listen to their citizens, to their businesses, to their industry, and that needs regular communication processes. Great examples from Asia to North America to Africa. It's different in every cultural context, and I think that's the importance that we need to understand.
So you also think that questions like culture and other social activities will be an important part of this?
Not only culture, but also economics. If people see that this brings new opportunities, new job creation, stimulating the green economy, I think that's where we wish to go.
To be connected is also one of the most important things, and I have seen organizations like Climate Kick, who is a representative here with a lot of people, working with hackathons, and that's a sort of a new way of connect people to be engaged. How is the experience from your perspective?
Well, I like the style of Climate Kick because it does focus on that combination, innovation and communication. And through projects, the Climate Kick Project Locale, where we're, for example, involved as ICLE, also aims at bridging the gap, looking at how to find finance, how to get the right people to speak to each other. Communication is at the heart of everything we do here. And it inspires, it mobilizes, but it also gives really great ideas that could kickstart and snowball.
Interesting. So I think we're going to have more discussing in the coming week here about different topics, and then tomorrow that we're going to meet here again in 1 o'clock, and we will have a mayor here, and I think also the Nordic Council's pavilion here is full of people engagement, and I think we're going to have the first side event with the Nordic mayors here on the 3rd of December, and I think we start 10:15. We'll see. It's going to be some discussion and follow up with the mayors after that event too. So I think that I will say thank you for this first introduction talk as a webinar, and so we will keep be online, and you can always follow us what's happened here in Paris through the Twitter account Mayor's Lead, and we have a hashtag called Mayor's Lead. So use that and follow that. You're gonna see the hottest what's going on these days. And thank you for this first live webinar, and thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.